So let us go to money, honey. It is in the gate 45. It says the natural and generally beneficial attraction of like forces. So the 45th gate understands something. It understands that for every product and service, there is a client. It is the same thing as understanding your design. For every gate, there is a receptor. But it is also something else. The theme of the 45, line 3, is exclusion. And this is one of the things to understand about the way in which we have naturally developed our corporate cultures. They've been based on exclusive power centers. It's like the joke in the corporate world about the key to the executive bathroom, Like, you finally make it when you get the key to the executive bathroom. You finally make it when you get to the inner circle, And there is a great deal of suspicion that comes from the collective and the individuality about such cabals, because this is the tribal we're talking about. They do not particularly like them, and yet this is the natural ruler of the material plane. We know that the 45th gate is deeply possessive, and the only voice of having and not having, this is the voice. And obviously we attract attention in two ways. We can attract the attention of those who have by offering them things they don't have that they can afford to buy, and we can attract the attention of those who don't have by trying to get them to a place where they do have. So it is all about having, and it is all about attracting attention to it. One of the deep responsibilities of the 45th gate is to make sure that its organization is kept up to date, that it is educated. But this exclusion is very important. Now, one of the things to recognize about exclusion is that if you read the line, it's about something else as well. It tells you something about the nature of the dynamic of business, which is fundamentally organic. The line is this: the ability, when excluded, to take whatever measures are necessary to dissolve the antiquated form and to accept even humiliation to achieve inclusion. Now, what that really is about is that if you are outside of the inner circle, nothing says you have to stay there permanently. We have this horrible thing called brown nosing, Not a good word. It's pretty awful, but it's true. There is always a brown noser. Somebody outside the inner circle who goes, I'll do anything you want, And one day they get that phone call that says, Sir, we'd like you to come into the inner circle now. There are so many very interesting examples in that, in life and in movies, we've seen it. So the reality is that there is always the potential to move from the outer circle inside. But the only way that you can get in is that you have to go as far as humiliation. The corporate world is deeply tribal. It is the root of the tribe. And all business will always be run this way. This is what business is. The difference between the included and the excluded can change, but it creates problems. Like Ra gave an example of a German economy. He said from the post-war socialism unions were provided seats on boards of directors. And boy, he said, in the end, that was a disaster, just disaster because it doesn't work. So I don't know much about German economy, but maybe if you are a German and you listen to this, maybe you do understand that. So if you come up from the showroom floor, you eventually make it to the board on your own merits. That is something else. That happens too. But those who are naturally excluded should not be included. And of course, selling this is quite a job because this is all about how to run modern enterprise and how to control your tribe, how to make the tribe functional, and in the end, how to attract attention for your tribe as a whole. It's like, my tribe is better than your tribe, my tribe has more than your tribe. And you can see that it is natural for us in our cultural development. And it is natural for us in the way in which our business develops. So it's something to recognize. And it doesn't matter whether you're a huge conglomerate or you're a small business. One of the most difficult places for exclusion is in the small business, because in the small business, everybody feels like they are a part of it. It's usually a pentadynamic. And they all feel like they are included and should be included in everything. It's very important to understand the theme of exclusion, which leads to more efficiency, and everybody ends up making more. Everybody. So one little thing that I want to add underneath quietly, because I don't want people who have the 45th gate to be beaten to death in this classroom, wherever you are right now. I mean, this is where taxation comes from. Those who are on the inside are different in the way in which they are taxed than those on the outside. Yes. So the good and the bad, the evil and the godly, everything is in one spot. So remember, when you are selling to the not self, through the not self, remember that you deliver through your true self, because this is where the compromise is. Otherwise, there is very difficult to be in this line of work.